What's up YouTube fragrance family and friends, I'm Tommy with Studio Scents. Welcome to another video review and another edition, the 11th edition of my 2 cents on 2 scents. I hope you're having an awesome day so far, and I'm really happy that you stopped by to check today's video out. We're going to be checking out a couple fragrances that are slightly obscure. One of them is a reframing of a fragrance that I actually gave kind of a negative review of, a negative opinion of, but I've since kind of changed my mind, and I'll give you the reasons for that and see if you might be interested in checking this one out. And the second one is a Mandarina duck fragrance. So in typical my 2 cents fashion, when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at these two fragrances, see why I think they're great for summer rotation and maybe even fall. That and more, so stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back. The first fragrance on this 11th edition of my 2 cents we're going to take a look at is a Kenneth Cole fragrance called Kenneth Cole for Him. Now this is the 50 ml edition, which is a really cool looking presentation. The very bottom of the bottle, I'll show you a little bit of close up there. Looks like a DSLR camera, which was the intention, kind of a masculine bent on an exploratory, kind of discovery, edgy, urban fragrance. That's kind of what it was designed for. Oftentimes, certain perfumers get to say something about their fragrance, and that becomes then the little tagline or description for the marketing. The perfumer for Kenneth Cole for Him is Philip Romano, and this is what he says: a clean and edgy style embodied by a contrasted and graphic scent based on an enticing mineral accord. Inspired by the urban and high-tech streets of New York, a city of endless possibilities. Rock and roll woods melt with authentic saltiness and translucent jasmine to provide this biting clarity, an innovative addiction to embrace. This note is an infinite and minimalist blueprint of free minds, says Philip Romano, perfumer at Dram. Most fragrance descriptions are a little bit over the top, but one thing that he is right about is that mineral accord, that saltiness is a little biting in this fragrance, and combined with the white amber in this is a really good combination. Now, at first, I didn't like this fragrance. I've talked about it once before on my channel, and I gave it a kind of a thumbs down, a negative review, because I said that it didn't have any body to it. It definitely has a challenge or struggle when it comes to performance, when it comes to longevity. This isn't a fragrance that lasts very long. If you're getting 4 hours out of it, you're probably doing pretty good at that point. So why would I be promoting a fragrance that only lasts that amount of time? Well, I feel like that there are certain situations and certain environments where that's the perfect answer for what you're looking for in a fragrance. What caused me to have a really solid like for this fragrance is I started using the aftershave balm. Now, I don't typically like aftershave balm because there's a lot of alcohol for one. There's really heavy smell in most of them. I wanted something very minimalist, very light, yet was very modern smelling and not like barbershop smelling. And that's why this is the perfect answer. I'm actually almost out, but I really like the smell of this fragrance as an aftershave balm. And when you combine the aftershave balm with the actual fragrance itself, it lasts a lot longer. Like if you shave your neck, and which I recommend shaving the kitchen back there and putting the aftershave balm, and then of course spraying this directly back there as well, is very similar to layering, and it causes it to last quite a bit longer. Let's talk a little bit about Kenneth Cole for Him's note breakdown. Kenneth Cole for Him features top notes of mineral notes, sea salt, and citrus fruits, with heart notes of jasmine and ginger, resting on a base of woods and white amber. While Kenneth Cole is not necessarily a designer that's very well known for making bangers by any stretch of the imagination, they do make nice minimalist office scents, and that is one reason I really enjoy this, and that's why I'm going to recommend it to you as a great summer addition to your summer rotation, especially now that people are getting back to work and going to brick and mortar jobs where they're going to be in close proximity to others. Fantastic office scent. It lasts just long enough to make an impact in your office day, but then it doesn't like bleed into other scenarios where you might want to use another fragrance, might want to layer up again. So you definitely want to carry this with you to the office if you work those 9 to 12 hour shifts. Someone in a review also described this as being a simple scent, and it really is. You've heard me say this many times on my channel. Simplicity equals elegance in many cases, and that's the case with this one. One guy said that there's something about the fragrance that drove his wife crazy, and my wife actually really enjoys this fragrance. fragrance. This definitely, if someone smells it on you, is going to be a compliment getter, compliment puller. There's something very light and inviting about the fragrance. I'll agree with the perfumer, it does have an addictive quality about it. Now that whole bit about rock and roll woods and urban sizzle and style, that's not really part of this fragrance. It reminds me kind of a very nice, quiet, contemporary beach house. Sitting on the very back and watching the waves go back and forth, catching that lightly aquatic, salty breeze. So you've got that little bit of salty bite in there with the mineral accord and the salt. And then that white amber warms it up and adds that sweetness to it, that light, sweet, masculine elegance. The combination of jasmine and ginger in this is never overbearing. It's lightly floral, but mostly this carries that citrus, salt, mineralic, amber. That's the kind of the trifecta that this carries throughout the open. It's not very changeable from the open to the dry down, but it's extremely consistent and pleasant on all three levels, top, mid, and base. And that's why I'm gonna recommend it to you guys. And what's great about this is that this doesn't get a tremendous amount of attention, therefore the price is relatively low. You can pick this up for next to nothing for a 50 ml bottle, or if you wanna opt for the 100 ml and just spray the heck out of it, you can do that as well, because you're not gonna offend anyone with this. There's no challenging notes in it, and you can't necessarily overspray it in my estimation. Great scent definitely is challenged in the performance arena, but sometimes you don't need necessarily to use a banger, and you're looking for a good subdued but yet very masculine and contemporary smelling light office scent. Best way to describe this one, Kenneth Cole for him. Next up on this 11th edition of My 2 Cents on 2 Cents is a fragrance from the house of Mandarina Duck. It happens to be a discontinued fragrance, but you can still find it out there for relatively inexpensive. It is Mandarina Duck Cool Black. Cool Black is a fragrance that was created by Natalie Lorson, who also created Black Extreme. She also did Mandarina Black and Black and Red, so Cool Black was a given. Cool Black is a little bit different than the others, though it does carry the DNA of the Mandarina Black profile, the scent profile, but it's a little bit on the different side. Now this is another one where I had to warm into the scent profile, and now I really enjoy it, specifically the dry down. Because when you smell the open of this, it may seem a little bit off-putting or unpleasant. That citrus and pepper is a weird combination to the nose, at least to my nose. It smelled a little reminiscent of something synthetic like plastic burning. I'll give you my thoughts on that. First, let's look at the presentation a little bit. What's neat about this bottle that is different than all the other Mandarina Duck bottles? It's a clear glass bottle. Now that's maintained from the 50 ml, which is what this is, to the 100 ml. The lid itself and the bottle itself all completely transparent, and the atomizer itself is a nice rich metallic red with a white aperture or spray nozzle. Of course, it has that Mandarina Duck divot on the very bottom there, which is indicative of the Mandarina Duck presentation. And the fragrance itself, while many people think it is just standard fare, I think it's a little bit more unique than that. Let's talk about the note breakdown. Cool Black by Mandarina Duck features top notes of bergamot, black pepper, and lemon zest, with heart notes of elemi resin, violet, and hyssop, resting on a base of moss, musk, and cedar. Nothing super unique or crazy intense to write home about in terms of the formula. The thing about this fragrance though, it's quite different from the open to the dry down. Now mostly what you get in the name, that Cool Black, is in the very open when it presents itself to you. Kind of show you what I mean. Right away, to me, that bergamot, black pepper, and lemon zest is not the best open. I don't think, there are some people that are like, yeah, that's a great open. You got citrus, you got pepper. Both of them are adding their elements to the open there that makes it inviting. And ultimately it does become kind of inviting, but at first, especially in comparison with another fragrance, if you've just been wearing another fragrance, or if you literally compare it to another fragrance, that open is a little bit off-putting. That fades relatively quickly. So you may not even catch that, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying that the fragrance smells like that. It's just reminiscent of that at first in that open. You may not even catch it, and if you don't catch it, great. After the open dies down, which literally is less than 5 minutes, not even kidding, it starts moving into the heart. You get the little bit of floral with the combination of hyssop and violet there. The elemi resin adds the fixative that binds everything together, and you do get a little bit of a heavier musk and moss scent with woods. So it ends up being a nice citrusy, floral, woodsy fragrance. It's definitely masculine. It definitely is part of the Mandarina Duck Black family. Guys, I love the way this smells on skin. Similar to Kenneth Cole for Him, this one is a little bit performance challenged. However, it does last, I'll say, average longevity, but that dry down, man, that dry down is so pleasant. It almost, because of that mix, that great mix of LME resin and florals and a little bit of citrus zing there, it almost blends into a vanillic, kind of warm vanillic scent. So while this one is a great fragrance for spring and summer, I posit that it can also be used for fall. Not cold weather, but fall in particular. Great fall fragrance. This is the perfect fragrance for family get-togethers, for casual wear, wearing at the office, if you're casual or semi-formal. This would even make a nice date night scent. It's got a little bit of magnetic allure, some romantic allure, owing to the mix of florals and citrus that give you that kind of vanillic bent to it. Great date night fragrance. And again, super inexpensive. It's discontinued, so if you guys find Cool Black for the deal that I did, which this was on Amazon, I believe, for 10 bucks for a 50 ml bottle, grab it up. You'll definitely enjoy it. And I think, while it's not the best in the Mandarina line, I think it's a great addition and I really enjoy the scent. Mandarina Duck Cool Black. That is a wrap for my 11th edition of My 2 Cents on These 2 Cents. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. And if you've got some experience with Mandarina Duck Cool Black, or Kenneth Cole for Him, let me know what you think of these fragrances. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.